Again, good evening, everyone. My name is AnGèle Cade, and I'm coming to you from the San Fernando Valley. I'm excited to be with you here tonight, and I'm going to talk about three main points. Oh, just let me start. I was going to use it. It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to really talk to you tonight about three main points, and the first starting with structure. A lot of times when we are in business, no matter what type of business, real estate investing, being a broker, being an agent, the reality is that it is our business. And so in terms of it being our business, the structure is very, very important. A lot of people come to us by nature, by trade. I'm a business consultant, so people come all the time and say, I want to do an LLC, I want to do a corporation, should I do a C or an S? I want to get into a property, should it be an LLC? I want to partner with somebody, I want to limit my liability, I want to make sure that I'm protected, I want to make sure that I can execute and do the things that I want to do and need to do in my business. I want to leverage the property, I want it to grow, I want to be able to build credit, I want to be able to point to the credit so that I can get what I want in the future. I don't want to be limited by my personal credit, by my personal limitations, by my debt to income ratio. I want to be able to stretch as far as I can go when it comes to the future of my business. The reality is that most of us do maybe a variety of things. Maybe we're involved in a few different things in terms of business and structures. The possibility is that you could have a parent company that does management or that does a certain item of business, and underneath it you have multiple trades. Whatever it is for you, the reality is that the structure is a vehicle. So most of us traditionally start off in business, at least when we're in a small business, as a sole proprietor. When we engage in a relationship, it's based on our Social Security number. We give our the person that we're working with, or we give the broker our Form W-9, and we put our name and our Social Security number. And then at the end of the year, we get this 1099, and then we wonder, oh gosh, now I've got to pay taxes. Now I've got to pay self-employment tax. Now I've got to pay all these things associated with the 1099. Maybe you have an accountant that you work with that maybe has told you that you've reached a point where you've kind of capped out and it might be time for you to engage in a structure. Maybe diversifying that will help your portfolio so that you can leverage some of the things that you've been building. So tonight, I just really want to have a conversation with you about these structures and the differences in them. Maybe you have clients that come to you and they actually ask you, what structure is best for me? Or is it time for me to engage in a structure? Or I want to partner with somebody and maybe create an LLC. I've heard that that's the best thing to do. So I kind of want to talk you through some scenarios of when it works and when it doesn't work, what it does and what it doesn't do. Because the reality is you hear a lot of stories, but you really want to be empowered to know the truth about how the structure works. There's two parts to every structure. The first part being an accounting perspective. And the accounting perspective is vital because every structure has an impact on your tax consequence. Every structure has an impact of how it's going to affect you come tax time. So it might feel good now, it might be separation now, but when you owe that state minimum tax of $800, then you don't want to get that call, I didn't know this was there. Or you might have had ambitions to grow the business in a certain way, and when it didn't work that way, and you weren't able to capture all those deductions, then you get frustrated, well, where did that money go, or how do I benefit from those write-offs? The reality is that the structure is a vehicle to take you where you want to go. So what are your goals in business? What do you want to do? You have clients, again, that maybe come to you and want to join together or join forces to execute deals, and they're not sure which one's going to be best. The other part of the structure, outside of the accounting perspective, is the legal perspective. The legal perspective is in terms of the liability, the vulnerability. Sometimes I get a client that will come to me and say, well, my person told me to get an LLC, and I've had this LLC for 2 years. Well, you didn't quitclaim deed the property into the name of the LLC, so it's not covering anything. Just like a trust, just like any type of structure, to activate it, it has to make sense in your strategy. You have to actually empower it in your strategy. If you're building a business, if you're building credit, if you're building these things, you want credibility to exist in your structure by having the bank account, having the separation, having the paper trail that proves your intent. And that's the legal aspect. What protects you is the paper trail. If you're going to build a property and you're going to have a structure in place, actually put the property in the name of the structure. Actually have the tenant make the checks to the structure, because that strengthens the structure to now have what? Income, assets, credibility, so that you can leverage it, and when you get the next structure, now you can group that together. And the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that entities, corporations, LLCs, it doesn't have the same ceiling as we do as individuals when it comes to debt to income ratio. As an individual person, a bank will only trust you so much. It'll only trust you to a particular extent that you can actually qualify based on your individual income. But they don't question that in a business. If I told you that I had a corporation and it was going to make $10 million, well, that's absolutely possible because it's a structure. But if I tell you I'm going to do it and I've only in the past made $50,000, then now you question my ability to do it because the limitations are based on my experience. So with the structure, with stock, with membership, with ownership, there's so much that you can leverage when you are ready to engage and play the game that way. What I'm really here to talk to you tonight about is business credit. A lot of times we don't realize how vital it is to be able to have credit exist separate from you. Just like you have your credit scores, the business actually has a credit score. Why, if you are doing things right now in the name of your business, you have cell phones, you have internet, you've got a home office, you've got rent, you've got maybe contractors, maybe you have an assistant, you have things that you're paying that actually are part of your business that you could leverage as part of your legitimacy that your business exists and that it's viable and that there's a future and that you can grow it and that it can become greater and bigger than you could imagine. And so why not capture all that in a structure so that you can get the credit, so that you can take the risk without giving up your personal assets, without leaving vulnerable the things that you've worked so hard for? Why should you execute a business and put your home at risk? Why would you execute a business and put your family at risk? There's no reason to if you can actually get the credit and get the things that you want in the name of that business. Again, you're already paying expenses in the name of a business. Why not transfer responsibility to that entity so that it can have the references so that you can now grow and bounce from there? It's about changing the way that we do business. It's not just about the individual being able to do a service. It's about the future of what you're building in your business. I tell clients all the time, I say, what's your exit strategy? They're like, AnGèle, we just started this conversation. What do you mean exit strategy? It's important to know what you're going to do to get out. Are you building this business for succession? Do you have children? Do you want them to take it over? Are you building this business because it's your exit strategy, it's your retirement strategy? You want to groom it to sell. You want to groom it for future investors to come in. You want to groom it so that you'll be able to actually dissolve it and liquidate it so that you can take them the assets and retire on. What are your goals in your business? We don't work hard every day just to work hard every day. We work hard so that we can create a life that we want, so that we can create a future that we want, so that when we land there, it makes a difference in the lives of our family and the people that we love. What's the whole point if it's not for that? So now what we're doing is what we're doing tonight is we actually have all of these documentations where we want to share with you what it's going to take to build business credit. Now I have to be honest with you, I've been in this industry over 12 years. And I've seen the economy, I mean we've all experienced it, especially in this industry, up and down. And people have sold things. They've sold structures. They've sold trust. They've sold credit. They've sold all kinds of things. And they've packaged it up and they've put it with a nice big bow on it and they've said, here, it's perfect. It's just this way just for you. And I'm here to tell you tonight that there is no cookie-cut answer to how this is going to work. There's no cookie-cut formula. I can't tell you that a C Corp, an LLC, an S Corp, I can't tell you that the trust and a limited partnership is going to protect you, because the way that you're going to get where you want to go is absolutely unique to your desires. So with that said, our program is actually designed to have a personal private coach and personal consultant deal with you and your goals. deal with you and what you want for your business. There's a myriad of credit that exists out there, and what we've done is we've aggressively, in the last year, looked for some of the top lenders in the country and grouped them together in one place so that we could service our clients. And the lenders have brought packages and products that actually satisfy a myriad of industries. It's not just about necessarily being able to have the credit, because we know, of course, in this day and age, everybody doesn't necessarily have the perfect credit to get the cash that they need. But maybe they have the credibility through the income in their bank statements. Maybe they have the credibility through their merchant account. Maybe they have the credibility in other assets that they can leverage. Why not look at the full picture of a person and judge them on that and not just one thing? So we're here tonight to offer that in a package where you can go to one place and get the type of coaching, the type of support that you need to actually execute getting the credit desired for your business or your client's business. The reality is that a lot of people still want to get into real estate investment. And sometimes it's not just the one person. You might have to group together with someone else. Why not leverage in a partnership in an LLC in a formal format? And I say LLC because it's the perfect hybrid between a corporation and a partnership. It's the perfect hybrid of both of those, and that's why it was designed. So that's when it works best. So let's say, for instance, you have a team of people. One person has cash, one person has credit, one person has this, one person has experience. Sweat equity has value in an LLC. All you have to do is document it on your operating agreement. So now everyone comes to the table with value. You're able to create this partnership and leverage everyone's strength. That's what it's about, leveraging your strengths. We don't focus on our weaknesses. We delegate, hire out, and partner with our weaknesses so that they then can couple with us, and then everything can be strong. And that's what we're looking to do, create scenarios, create opportunities, create it in such a way so that now your success is not just a wish or a dream, it's actually a plan. It's actually tangible. It's actually measurable. We have a program, it's a year-long program. Most clients execute what they need in 6 months. We have 20 points of compliance to make sure that your business makes sense. Once you follow our steps in the coaching, there's homework involved. I'm not going to pretend to you like, oh, all of a sudden we wave a magic wand and money falls out of the table. I would be over there getting the money, but I wouldn't be talking to you if that was the case. The reality is that it takes work, it takes commitment, it takes dedication, it takes you believing in your business as much as we want to believe in your business. So all I'm asking tonight is that you open up your mind to have really the opportunity to participate in this program that we've designed, again, for times like this so that you can have access to the lenders and to the products all in one place. What we offer is a membership. It's not a dry product, it's not a flat amount. If someone tells you, oh, I can guarantee you $100,000, there's no guarantees. I've been in the game much too long to say, I know that you can get $100,000. No, I know what's possible, and I know minimums that I can guarantee if you do the things that I say, if you make sense on paper. A lot of people want things, but they don't make sense. Have you ever met them? Yeah, we've all met them. I want this, I want that. You don't make sense. How do you expect to get these things? You have to be in position to receive the blessings that you're asking for. So all we're asking is that you actually engage and work with us in a way where we can actually mold and form and create the opportunity for you to be positioned to receive the things that you're desiring. What I want to do, and I told Dan this, and normally we don't do this, but he talked about how important it was for this group to make sure that you walked away with real answers to your real questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up to questions. I don't know if any of you have anything that's going through your mind or any scenarios. Believe me, I can talk for another 45 minutes. I know how to monologue. But I really want to answer your questions right where you are. Yes?
Do you work with any private lenders?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so that's an option to work with you. How do you feel on standard lenders? Do you have any in particular that you feel things are starting to loosen up a little bit? Can you give us a feel for that?
Yes.
That's my partner,
She's the business consultant gal, and I've got the programs down everybody here. We have one in particular that I know is not common, very unique. It is the ability to purchase at the trustee sale. As you all know, that means you need to bring a big check at the trustee sale and pay for things in full. Well, we have an option for you whereby you would put up the first 20% and we would then finance you the other 80%. And the actual terms are not really horrible. They're not gouging. And at the end of it, we give you the ability to buy or sell notes. So the lending thing is one aspect of it, but I think we really want to drive home the importance of separating you as an individual from your business and being able to obtain funds just on the EIN, the entity itself, whereby you're not the person who's responsible for that money. You're not the guarantor. It's not overextending your consumer credit report. And some of our products are unsecured business funding, which means we don't care. If you have a dream and your credit report constitutes that dream and you're willing to use your personal credit report, I've recently just funded somebody $100,000 in 10 days. Didn't 4506 them, don't care if you have a job, don't care what you do with your Friday nights, none of that. We have a rehab program in there. We have quite a few different funding things, but again, we really want to place an importance on separating yourself from the business and having the entity have its own credit and stand alone. And we know that the funds have opened back up. We have 1,800 lenders within our program, just a myriad.
Yeah, and piggybacking on that, just really want to open up the understanding of companies like Dun & Bradstreet, you know, and the importance of having what's called a PAYDEX score and what that means for your business. And when somebody looks up your business credibility, if you make sense in those spaces, and when you have a strong PAYDEX score, those are things that they look at extending experience. They have corporate divisions where they have commercial ratings where they look at specifically the business. But if everything you do is always personal, then you'll always be limited to what you can do personally. And we want to really open that up so that people can understand once you separate, then you actually open up a whole another aspect of opportunity that exists in your business. So just really understanding how that is executed. Yes?
When would you start this and say in your business life cycle? When would you suggest you start doing this?
Start doing the business credit portion. It's actually immediate. There's things that you immediately can do to build that business credit. As far as the length of time, the amount of money, that's why our program exists, to really hold your hand so that within that first either 10 days if you're willing to guarantee it, 6 months if you want to strictly build it on your business, 1 year if you have visions of grandeur, whatever it looks like for you, it's on purpose and it's a course that you take. So you can actually begin to start it right away. You can open up a Dun & Bradstreet profile the moment the entity exists, the moment you have a tax ID number. Tax ID number follows debt. It is the social security number of your business. It's the reason why when you are incorporated in a state and they issue you a charter number, it immediately denotes that you're a separate living person. That's actually the pure definition of an entity, a separate living person. One of the books that I read had called a corporation a living person without a soul. And it said that it didn't have a soul because it has perpetual existence. It doesn't necessarily die with the person. Not like a sole proprietorship, not like a general partnership. It has the ability to perpetually exist beyond that individual person. You can will it, you can sell it, you can do all of those things. And so again, it has the ability to actually leave a legacy in the business that you're building. If the business is just you, and if it's only limited to your efforts and what you do, then what you've done is you've created a job for yourself that you clock in and out of that exists on your efforts. The moment you shift and you have the desire to create a business, something that can generate income with or without you, something that you can build, some type of asset, something that you can get paid royalties, rentals, something that you can receive residual income on, then all of a sudden now you have a business. And so these are the things that we look to inspire and encourage our clients to do so that, again, they can actually achieve their goals. Any other questions for us?
Yeah, is the Dun & Bradstreet a way of getting a credit rating for your business like you would have a personal credit rating?
Yes, it is. It is a score-driven credit rating, but because it's for the business, it's based on a few different factors that when you start a business, you have an opportunity that you typically don't have as an individual person. For example, when you start a business, you can project how much you're going to make in a year. That projection potentially can be placed on your Dun & Bradstreet. Now, if you project that you're going to make a certain amount, do I know whether or not you actually did it? No. But your predicated rating could actually vary based on that. You could have one employee and maybe seasonally 3. But if you told me your employees range from 1 to 5, you just now impacted your Dun & Bradstreet score. Again, there's varying techniques that we use in terms of ranges, projections, and again, making sure that you make sense that actually help boost that score so that you can leverage it and get the things that you need in the future. So those are like some of the strategic things that we make sure are done and that are in place for your best interests.
If I can just say one thing, you don't actually have to be a C or an S Corp or LLC or a LLP to obtain business credit. You can be a D Corp doing business as. So I just want to make sure that that's not a misconception.
Yeah. So every structure is definitely acceptable in our program. So there's no discrimination on structure. Yes.
What do you charge for membership?
So the membership is typically $49.99. It's for the entire year. We take it in 2 payments. And then Gigi can go through in terms of the payment schedule, but it's typically 2 payments. But tonight, because we're here with Dan, we are offering it to the group for $35.99. And so definitely we want you to see us, talk to us, pick our brains, get the paperwork, and literally within 24 hours, you are assigned a coach, and that coach is going to call you, and you're going to be able to communicate with that assigned person to build what you need in the business. We actually guarantee, and I told you earlier, if someone says, I can get you this particular number, then you really need to watch out. But because we know what we know about how we structure the business and how your business needs to make sense, at the bare minimum, everybody walks away in the experience with us with at least $50,000. Now, $50,000 to somebody can make a difference in them taking a risk for their future success and greater wealth. If you had $50,000 right now available to you, what would you do? What would you put it into? How would you make money from that money? What would you execute? What decision would you make? What risk would you take? Especially the possibility of knowing that it doesn't impact your personal debt-to-income ratio. Or maybe with the possibility of knowing that you didn't personally guarantee it so that it shows up on your personal credit and you can leverage it through the business. Maybe that's enough of an opportunity to make a difference in your business life. Maybe it's enough of an opportunity to create a scenario where you can execute a deal, enter into a partnership, engage with Dan and get some of those wonderful rehab properties, or maybe 2 of them since they're so little.
Right.
And actually make some money for your future. The things that we're missing is just money and opportunity. And when they meet, don't you want to have both of them? How many times have you had an opportunity and didn't have the money? Probably more times than you've had the money and just didn't have the opportunity. But still, we want to show up with both when we go to this party.
What interest rate are you charging on that money and what terms?
That actually isn't us that would be having that charge for you, and it falls in. What happens is the first 30 days, your credit coach will spend with you going through the 20-point compliance system that needs to take place. And then by the 60th day juncture, you're going to have small credit cards that are related to your industry, gas cards, Costco cards, whatnot. After you use and cultivate those, we then go into the MasterCards and the Visas, which is the $50,000. What are you two doing over there? You get the $50,000 at that point. And there is a 0% APR for the first year. But it all falls in line with what you've done and what you've cultivated. And then we have various offers from various lenders, and it's up to you which one is the most suitable for your actual circumstance.
And as she just mentioned, I wanted to deal with this. When you deal with vendor trade, so she mentioned things like gas cards, and earlier I talked about things like cell phones and things that you already do in your business. Those vendor trade cards are vital because they are actually backed by banks. When you engage with a Costco, when you engage with Dell, when you get your next computer, when you get your next, whatever it is that you're doing, those particular vendor cards are backed by banks, and you're in relationship with credible banks that now build the reference for the actual money that you want to get. So again, it becomes all strategic to building away from your personal credit. And so that's where you want to partner in being able to go through that particular process. So it will again be a partnership during that period of time in making sure that you have what you need to execute the credit that you are looking for in your business. So what you do is you state your goals. You basically set up what it is that you're looking for, what you're going after. And then what happens is we work backwards in figuring out how to get what it is that you want. And that's the way that it should be. It's like visualizing. Yes.
If you already have a business and are partway down this road,
Yes.
can all of this be accelerated?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean,
We have
definitely,
a
because
myriad.
once you're done with the 20-point compliance, if you only have like 2 things that are needed to kind of clean you up, then you've absolutely accelerated those first 30 days where you're already in the door. If you have an existing business, you might already have a Dun & Bradstreet profile. You might already have a portion of a score that just needs to be built upon. So once all of that is assessed, then the time and the pacing is going to be up to your profile and based on what your actual goals are with your coach.
And for you, sir, I'm sorry to,
Yeah.
For you, I don't know what the nature of your business is, but we do offer other types of loans, like factoring. If you have invoices that you'd like to expeditiously be paid on, we do factoring, and there is a myriad of loans. If you have a certain amount in merchant services that you bring in per month, we'll give you a certain equation of that for a short-term basis, and the way that they take payment back is they take a small percentage of each swipe that goes through your business on a daily basis, so you don't feel like there's an actual payment that occurs. So there are a variety of types of loans for people that already exist and are generating money and want more money or different types of products in addition to what they have going on.
And I appreciate you saying that, Gigi, because one thing that we've noticed in this particular climate, as I'm sure most of you have, with the way that the economy's been, with the way the banks have been, with the way the rules have changed, with the way that products have changed, a lot of us, in terms of financing, structuring, and just making sure everything makes sense, have been forced to be creative. And so even with being able to issue out funds based on merchant services, issue out funds based on factoring, looking at other factors other than the personal credit, actually looking at the business in a way that's been different than ever before so that people can be extended the opportunity. And so those are the creative variations that we're able to offer in the program. So I'm going to take my seat, and if anyone has any more questions or wants to pick up any information or is definitely ready to get started, like I said, in 24 hours you'll be assigned your coach and you can be off and running. We're here to answer your questions. We're excited about being here for you, so definitely take advantage while we're here. If you have structure questions, if you have entity questions, if you want to deal with what the possibilities are for you, we're very candid and to the point and just straight out when it comes to what's possible. If you don't make sense, we're not afraid to tell you you don't make sense. So you can see us anytime this evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to
And I want to thank Cynthia, because she actually referred us, meaning the Santa Barbara SBREIA, to Gigi, and then Gigi, of course, brought in
AnGèle?
Yes. Isn't she awesome, you guys?
Yes.
She's like the future of corporations, isn't she? Amazing. I'm just so pleased to be sitting next to her. We're going to get some, take pictures.
So what I'm kind of inferring is that, you know, we could take a poll or we could do some kind of thing and say, who would you like to have come and speak next month or whatever, but the reality is you can choose whatever you want anytime just by referring somebody back to me that we can, you know, check out, make sure it's going to work for us, and have them come here and speak to teach us all stuff that we don't know. Okay, so that's another way that we can continue to grow what we're doing here. Okay, so we're going to take a quick little break, and you guys grab some more wine while we set up Paul here for his computer and get things going. And
Really, you don't need that much